Okay. Zangief. Okay, so we have Zangief here, right? Let's talk about this matchup. We have Zangief here. This matchup is pretty simple in the way it's supposed to be played. It's pretty basic, so this shouldn't take too long. Should not take too long. So obviously we first have neutral. If we look at normals, Falke does have the advantage in terms of range on normals, right? In terms of range on normals. Now the buttons that Gief can press to contest would be, he has this, which they probably whiff out every time you do a forward heavy. If I can get it. That. So when they're walking you down to the corner and you're doing like forward heavy punch, they usually would press that as a whiff punish because that's all they can really do. Hold on, let me get rid of this. So you can do that, but look at the risk though. The risk versus reward. You will get a crush counter into a knockdown, which is clearly worth the risk, right? And they're not going to be able to react to that every single time. They'll be doing it preemptively, right? Whereas you would get a crush counter, which is even better. So there's not a huge risk in pressing forward hard punch. This is a button. You can afford to press this. This is fine, right? Okay, this is fine. Of course, you got crouch medium punch, also good range. Let's look at the buttons Gief would be pressing, right? Now this button from Gief actually got nerfed, which makes it probably the most whiff punishable button in the game now. So when Gief does this, you have a million years to whiff punish. This, you have a long time to whiff punish this. When you're doing all that, you have a long time to whiff punish all of that. Long time. You can do a lot. You can do a lot here. You can go into EX if you like. You can do a lot. So that whiff punish is key. You have to have that. You can't let Gief get away with it. You can go into CA. Bunch of stuff. Just don't let Gief players get away with this. Don't let them get away with this. I would also say to use V trigger 1. Now here's what you don't want to do with V trigger 1. You have trouble with his armor. So you have trouble with his armor, fire invincible, lariat, and his parry. Okay. So let's talk about the lariat first, right? Let's talk about the lariat then. So he's doing this, right? So that's what's happening, right? But here's the thing, you shouldn't be jumping at Gief in the first place. You shouldn't be jumping at Gief like that. You should be playing on the ground against Gief. You should be doing this. You have better pokes. Gief can't really reach you from here. You should play on the ground and get the life lead. And Gief should be the person jumping on you most of the time. Gief should be the person jumping on you most of the time. Right? So these buttons will beat Gief on the ground. You just have to be careful. So yeah, use these buttons to your advantage. Gief has to overextend first. Now, speaking of armor moves, we already spoke about the charge heavy punch. You can just whiff punish that. Now, Gief does have V-Score too. Now, this is kind of an issue in the matchup, but there's ways to deal with it. This is annoying. However, the one thing you don't want to do against this is panic, right? You don't want to be here and then just... You don't want to be here and like panic. You don't want to panic because you'll get counter hit. You have to remember, right? Worst case scenario. Here's the worst case scenario thing that can happen here. Gief does this. What does he get? He gets like... What's his SPD? I can't even SPD. Like that. But you have to remember, this is going to be scale damage. Let me try to get it. I don't know why that doesn't link. Yeah, you can get stun like a lariat, but this is heavily scaled, right? So taking the guard break isn't the end of the world, which is why you're actually better off not flinching every time Gief does this. Don't flinch, because then you end up getting counter hit and you actually eat unscaled damage. It's going to hurt a lot more. So if you're expecting it, you've got stand shot. If you're expecting it, you've got stand shot. Now you've got stand shot. Or another thing that I don't see, this is -4. You see that? You're +4 after that. You can just block. If you just set your mind to taking the armor, you can just get a punish by blocking it anyways. So don't flinch. The only thing you should be flinching for, and another thing you have to remember, is that Gief can only forward dash after this, right? Or he can backdash, but forward dash is the only thing you have to worry about. If he backdashes, it's fine. You don't have anything to worry about. If he's doing this in neutral and forward dashes, that's all you really have to look out for. You sit here and you check the dash. If he backdashes, see, nothing happens. Just check the forward dash and you'll be fine. You just have to set your mind to what you want to look out for, instead of like trying to react to everything and then getting counter hit. You thought that maybe just like stand like it to Lariat. Another thing I would say, V-Skill 2 is really good in this matchup. So you got V-Skill 2. V-Skill 2, you don't have to change how you play at all. You have it on the screen and you carry on doing what you were doing before. It just adds on to the pressure and it adds on to the damage and everything. You don't really, just having it on the screen is scary because Gief has no walk speed. So he's kind of forced to be inside of the orb. So he's going to jump or he's going to dash or do something. And it just adds on to the chip damage anyways. It just adds on to the chip damage. There's no reason to use V-Skill 1 because V-Skill 1 is -10 on block, and also at the same time there's no fireballs to be reflected. So use V-Skill 2 in this matchup. What you don't want to do with V-Trigger 1, you don't want this to happen. Alright, so this can happen, right? Which is why in this matchup you don't want to just do this. You don't want to do that. You don't want to jump at Gief. You're supposed to keep him out. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do this too. You don't want to do that as well because you'll get sucked in. So what you can do though, let me show you what you can do. What you can do is this though. That's fine because you're back here. You're back here. He can't suck you in like that. Jump back into V-Trigger is fine. And it might even last enough for it to punish it as well. So jump back into V-Trigger is fine. Neutral jump into V-Trigger is fine if they're not close to you. But you don't want to jump forward into Fireball when they have V-Trigger or Lariat, because they can just Lariat or use V-Trigger and you'll end up getting punished for that. So you just have to know what you can and cannot do. Another thing, if Gief is just doing this, if he's just doing it in neutral like that, every time you see that, you can just jump. You can just jump, punish this. See that? You can jump, punish that. Do you have to time it though? Why is that losing? Hold up. This is 100% worth going for though. Oh, there we go. I think jump heavy kick is more reliable than jump fist. Okay, do jump heavy kick. Jump heavy kick's more reliable. Let me try medium kick real quick. Let me try medium kick. Nah, you want to do heavy. Definitely want to do heavy kick. So what you can do is that. So you can get a jump in on that. So for armor moves, you have shot to beat the armor moves. You can block his V-Skill 2 and punish it because it's -4. You're just gonna lariat your effort to pressure him, or you get whiffed. He can't lariat your pressure. You can't really lariat pressure. Alright, so let's make Gief do this. You have to keep things frame tight. So let's record his guard recovery actions. So if he blocks and he just does lariat. So you're talking about this, right? He's doing lariat on my pressure. Let me make him guard wall. Okay. So that, right? That stuff like that. That should not happen. You have to keep things frame tight. You see that? You can't do that. See, crouch medium kick is more tighter than doing a micro walk. You can't do that. Same here. You have to learn your frame tight block strings. You have to keep it frame tight. That way he can't just do that. V-skill pressure? Which V-skill are we talking about? Which V-skill? V-skill 1? Which V-skill? V-skill 2 in the range. It doesn't really matter if he can't really do that. Look. If you have it here and you do this, he can't lariat that. And if he just does a random lariat here, look at the risk. Look at the risk of him doing this, right? If he just does a random lariat here, like that, look at the risk. Look at the risk here. Hold up. He's lost all of that health because he wanted to do a random lariat. If he does a random lariat, it's fine. That's just being random. That's just being random. You just punish it. When you try to poke him with forward hard punch, he can just do lariat. Oh, so you're talking about, okay, yeah, he can do that. So this. But then that's down to your spacing. You shouldn't really be whiffing this. You shouldn't really be whiffing forward heavy punch like that. You should do it at ranges where it won't whiff. And you have a better walk speed than Gief. So you shouldn't be getting outspaced. Because Gief has to get in. You shouldn't whiff this too much. This should be hitting. On block or on hit. It shouldn't really be whiffing. If it whiffs and you get whiffed by it, that's the Gief player who just outplayed you. That's not really it being hard for Falke. Because you have a better walk speed, so the movement on the screen is in your favor. Gief has to walk in. So yeah, I would say practice like not whiffing this. Practice your spacing on forward heavy punch. And then plus, when you get the right spacing and you have V trigger 1, now every time you do this, now you get that, and then you get to get this for free. You get to do that for free. Even better. And then you get an orb for free, and then there's all of this again. So that's my advice on this matchup and dealing with the armor and everything, and which V system you should be using. Hopefully that does help out. Hopefully that does help out.